And so the astronauts will be taking a spare from on board the station outside, doing a quick swap out, and then coming back in. They have one other get-ahead task on the list, a fairly minor procedure, and so the astronauts will be taking a spare from on board the station outside, doing a quick swap out, and then coming back in. They have one other get-ahead task on the list, a fairly minor procedure. They will be cutting a lanyard, secondary power distribution assembly doors, right above where the MDM is located. Very quick task. They'll be snipping the lanyard in order above where the MDM is located. Very quick task. They'll be snipping the lanyard in order to open it up for eventual access by the station's robotic assistant Dexter, or the special purpose Dexter's manipulator, so it would be able to get inside and manipulate the arm. The remote power controller module inside, basically a power relay box, so that'll be the only secondary task on the list today. Expected to be a very quick, concise, and short spacewalk for these two today. This will be Rick Mastracchio's 9th spacewalk. He's done 8 previously, comes in at 6 on the all-time list for spacewalking time with 51 hours and 28 minutes total. This will be Steve Swanson's 5th. He did 4 spread across 2 previous shuttle missions with a total elapsed time of 26 hours and 22 minutes. So again, the two inside of the Quest airlock right now. In their final preparations, they've completed their pre-breathe activities, basically those done to eliminate the chance of decompression sickness during this spacewalk. The atmospheric pressure inside of the suits only 4.3 psi, quite a bit below the normal atmosphere that they are living in on board the station of 14.7, which is the same atmospheric pressure we have down here at sea level. They do a number of activities for this pre-breathe, the first of which donning a mask for about 60 minutes, where they breathe pure oxygen while the airlock is depressurized to only around 10.2 psi. All of this activity done in order to purge excess nitrogen that in decompression sickness, nitrogen bubbles will form in the tissues or the bloodstream and have a chance to move to other parts of the body. So the spacewalkers do this pre-breathe protocol, breathing through the mask, and then suiting up and doing what's known as in-suit light exercise to help speed up the process. That all done to get any excess nitrogen out of the body. This done in place of a former camp-out procedure that used to be the normal operating procedure, which would have the astronauts spend the night overnight inside of the airlock. This pre-breathe and in-suit light exercise, though, cutting down the process to only a few hours and eliminating that need for camp-out.
We're in Maddox replacement procedure 2.120, step 9. GMT is 12:35, and now we're going to step 10.
Copy, thanks, Koichi.
Oh, lost sound. Oh wait, where's that? It's not even that, so I'll try this. Multimedia and NAS TV. Watch. One of my friends is also watching Igor, you might remember him. Yeah. He just asked.
Missing in action right now, but getting back there pretty soon will be the ground IV. Jeremy Hansen, he'll be responsible for talking to the two spacewalking astronauts, Mastracchio and Swanson, throughout their procedures today. Also inside of the room is the lead EVA officer for EVA 26, Glenda Brown. She'll be heading up the team that was responsible for planning and executing this spacewalk. You can see her there in the dotted shirt, sitting right behind. She'll be leading the team and has led the team throughout all the planning process for this spacewalk, getting it together very quickly, as again the failure only occurred less than 2 weeks ago, back on April 11th. So the team working pretty quickly in conjunction with a lot of other activities taking place in this short 2-week time span. A lot of visiting vehicle activity, as well as getting the spacewalk together. So a lot of long hours for the teams here in Houston, and even longer hours for the astronauts on board. But at this point, they are getting ready to finally execute this EVA and get that MDM, that failed MDM, replaced.
We're about to challenge.
So anyway, silence right now. I hope they're just not talking. I haven't lost sound.
So as I just mentioned, a lot of activity taking place in these past 2 weeks. Another major dynamic event occurring earlier this morning with the Russian Progress 53 cargo ship, one of 2 unmanned cargo craft launched by the Russians, currently docked to the International Space Station. It undocked from its port on the aft end of Zvezda earlier this morning at 3:58 a.m. Central Time. The craft, which has been docked since launching to the International Space Station in November of last year, is going to be doing a test of some upgraded Core's automated rendezvous system equipment. The system hoped to be incorporated inside of some of the future Progress vehicles. The aim to be to reduce the overall weight of the vehicle by eliminating several of the navigation antennas located on board. This will enable the Progress to carry even more supplies with the decreased weight of the vehicle itself. So this test, the undocking occurring without any issues earlier this morning. The Progress executing a series of separation burns to move away to a distance of a little over 300 miles from the station. It'll do its test out and then redock to Zvezda about 2 days from now on Friday at 7:15 a.m. Central Time.
I hope I haven't lost connection again.
So we're still a little over 11 minutes from that depress. The crew continuing their final preparations, getting their tools attached and assisted by Koichi Wakata throughout. As mentioned, this is expected to be a fairly quick spacewalk today in terms of traditional times, only lasting about 2.5 hours if everything goes as planned. Lead EVA officer Glenda Brown earlier this week at a status briefing gave a walkthrough of the task and showed off the box that the 2 astronauts will be replacing. Why don't we take a quick look at what Rick and Steve Swanson have to look forward to when they step outside of the station airlock in just about an hour from now.
So our EVA to repair the XMDM, or external multiplexer demultiplexer, will begin as we always do at the Quest airlock. As you can see here in the center of the photo, we egress through the airlock at the Nader hatch. EB1 will exit the airlock first. That'll be Rick coming out first. And Steve will follow him out. Between the 2 of them, they'll manage the hardware that they're bringing out. We're showing several bags here, but what we really boiled down to now is just the one ORU bag containing the MDM that will translate to the work site. They're going to carry all their other tools on their persons. They'll translate up the CETA spur, up to the handrail, up to the S0 face 1, and work along the CETA handrail. Face 1 is where the mobile transporter that holds the SSRMS is normally parked, right over the top of these MDMs. We've moved that out of the way, and it's at work site 2 now. They'll be getting into position, stowing the bag that's got the ORU in it, stowing any other tools that they bring with them that they want to have handy. And then Rick will get into position in a heads down position in front of the MDM. There's the MDM right there, and we're going to, rather than show him over the top of the box, we'll leave him out of the way for the purposes of this video. When they get to the work site, they're going to look around and see if they can find any damage. If it's daylight, we'll take some photos. If it's darkness, we'll go ahead and proceed to get the work done. Rick will get into position and remove the handling tool, or the scoop. We call that a scoop because it looks like an ice cream scoop. He'll remove that and then